Yeah, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Here I'm back again with a new parasha in the story of the patriarch, and today we go to search the parasha Vayetze. He went out, which follow the parasha Toldo. This parasha goes from the book of Bereshit, Genesis 28:10 to 32:3, and we continue the the story of Yaakov. We remember in the former parasha Toldo, we saw the trouble between Esau and Yaakov, which represent the duality in ourselves, the duality of the evil inclination represented by Esau, and the good inclination represented by Yaakov. If you have heard that Yaakov was a supplanter, a deceiver, you are misled. Because the text in the Parasha Toldo tells us that Yaakov was a plain man. The word is very badly translated, because in Hebrew it is Yaakov was a tam. It was tam, which comes from the word tamim, which means perfect. He was perfect inside. He was pure. He was honest, without deceit. So I will go back and make a video, which I didn't do last week, about the Parasha Toldo, to explain all these things. Now, because Esau wanted to kill Yaakov, he ran away and followed the instruction of his father and his mother. Remember, in Proverbs chapter 6 we read, "My son, do not forget the commandment of your father and the Torah of your mother." So Yaakov was very obedient because he was living in the tent of his father and his mother. Now, to understand the Torah, we have to understand that there are many layers. I say it again because sometimes we forget to see the different approach, the different faces of the Torah. In Judaism, we are taught that there is 70 faces. Now, how it comes? Because there are very many layers. Here, when we open the Torah, we read the pshat. This means the literal text. But behind the text, there is a lot of explanation, what we can discover. And what I will present you today is only one part of it, one of 70. But they all converge, they all come to the same conclusion. So here, Shaul tells us that the Torah is a shadow of the things to come. So what we see when we see the shadow, it means the shadow are things which are not yet completely revealed. But for us in Mashiach Yeshua, they are much more revealed, and they will be opened before our eyes when Mashiach comes back. So now we are in a stage of discovering. So when we observe and we read the Torah, we shouldn't make the error like the many do to read it as a text, as a story. It is not a story. It is about our life, our own life. We have to see in a different perspective and to change and to try to put ourselves in the life of Yaakov in this story and understand what Elohim is doing in the life of Yaakov. Yaakov ran away. Yes, he ran away from the land of Canaan, from the place of Yitzchak and Rivka. Remember that when Rivka heard that that Yitzchak wanted to bless Esau because he was the firstborn, she told Yaakov to obey to her and to go to the father to receive the blessing by tricking. But the tricking was not from Yaakov. The mother told him, and he obeyed the mother. He obeyed because he was a son who was living in the tent of Isaac and Yaakov. So now we have to understand that Yaakov was very obedient, and as such, he obeyed the mother. And the mother told him, because he said to the mother, you see, if my father recognizes that I am not Esau, he will curse me. It will be a trouble. I will be in trouble. But she said, let the curse be upon me. You can read that for yourself in the Parasha Toldo. Let the curse be upon me. So what does it mean? That the curse will come in the form that when Yaakov will go to Laban, he will never see again his mother. She will die before he comes back. And the mother's intention was to let Yaakov go for a while until the anger from Esau is appeased. But he will not come to so because she will die before Yaakov come back. That's it for lesson. Now, to understand. Now, this story in the Peshat level tells us the story of Yaakov going to his own relatives to get a wife. And on the way, he met Rachel, which is the second from Laban, and he was in love with her at first sight because she was beautiful. He was in love for her, and he decided in his heart to marry her. So he was really attracted by Rachel. And when he come to Laban, this man is a crooked man. He's a wicked man. He's a man from the world. Don't forget. Laban's story represents the world today. Yaakov is a purity. He represents in this story the Mashiach, and I will explain. Now he goes there to Laban, and he asks for the hand for Rachel. Laban do not say anything. He say, okay, what is the price? We say, okay, I will work 7 years for your daughter, and after that you will give me to me. And indeed, he worked 7 years, and the night of the marriage, Laban put Leah in his bed, and Yaakov consumed the marriage because he didn't saw that it was Leah. Nah. So in the morning, of course, he was totally disappointed. He was even angry against Laban. But Laban told him, no, you know, in our custom, this means from the world, you cannot marry the second, but you have to marry the first. And after that, if you want, you can have the second. You will work again 7 years. It's very interesting because you see here, Leah and Rachel represent the two houses. Leah represents the house of Yehuda, Rachel the house of Israel. And we will see why it is so important to understand. Leah do not fall in love with Yaakov. Huh? Do not fall in love with Yaakov. Like Judah do not fall in love with Mashiach at first sight. But she was obedient. She was obedient because she has a heart to serve. And she didn't want she didn't want to go against the decision of her father. Very, very important. So it is today with Judah. Judah is very obedient to the Torah and do not want to turn to the left or to the right, but keep the Torah. Rachel, on the other side, was in love. Love is something which attracts and which is nice, which makes us, with butterfly and all this emotion. She wanted to have Yaakov, and she was. But we see that already Elohim heard the trouble of Leah, and he opened her womb, so that she gave birth to many children before the womb of Rachel was open. So Rachel, on the other side, she was in love and walked, but was not fully renewed in her mind compared to Leah. So Yaakov, here we have to understand, Laban place represent the world. Yaakov, with a picture of the Mashiach, he went into the Laban's place This is what we see. You can read for yourself. If you go to the book of Yeshayahu, Isaiah, you will read that the light will shine in the world outside Israel, and the nation will run unto it. And this is very important to understand, because now the work of Laban, the work of Jacob, excuse me, is to unite the two houses, Leah and Rachel. He will work for the two houses, for Leah and Rachel, for all the children. He's a builder, he's a builder of the house of Israel. This is a shadow, because he's the father of the house of Israel. Jacob is the father of the house of Israel. If we go to the book of Luke chapter 1, when the Malach Gabriel speak to Miriam, he said to her, you will have a child, you will call him Yehoshua, he will save his people, he will reign over the house of Jacob forever, Leolam. You see, this is a work that we see in the Torah already. It is already there. What the Malach spoke thousands of years later to Miriam. Now Jacob, when he left, he went to the place, and this place is very interesting, because when he lay down here, he said that there is a lot of symbolic, you know. This is where he saw the ladder who went open to the heavens. I will read a commentary from First Fruit of Zion, which is very interesting. He said, Jehovah revealed the vision of the ladder to Jacob as he slept. In his sleep, Melachim, messenger, ascended and descended upon him. Elohim confirmed the covenant with him while he slumbered, with his head upon a stone. Upon a stone. In the morning he erected the same stone as a monument and anointed it with oil. That is very, very interesting, because I will present another layer. He says here, First Fruit of Zion say, sleep represents death. Just as Jacob slept at Bethel, Mashiach slept the sleep of death and rested upon the stone. Through the slumber of the Mashiach, Jehovah revealed the ladder to heaven, which is Mashiach's atoning suffering and death, the descent, and his triumphant resurrection, the ascent. Messenger ascended and descended upon him, and when he rose up, he moved the stone from before his tomb. If we go in the book of Yohanan, in the chapter 1, we read something very, very interesting. And I will open for you Yohanan chapter 1, and we read in the chapter 1 from the verse, I think it's 45. Let me see. From the verse 40, I will read from the verse 43 for the context. Remember, he is not in Jerusalem, he is in Galilee, which is in the northern of Israel. On the following day, Yehoshua wished to go to Galilee, and he found Philip and said to him, follow me. And Philip was from Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Kepha. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, we have found him whom Moshe wrote in the Torah. He speaks about Devarim 18 from verse 15-18. And the prophet Yehoshua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. And Nathanael said to him, is it possible for any good matter to come out of Nazareth? Philip said to him, he didn't say yes or no, he said, come and see. Yehoshua saw Nathanael coming toward him and said of him, see, truly an Israeli, or the Israelite, in whom is not deceit. Nathanael said to him, from where do you know me? Yehoshua answered and said to him, before Philip called you, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you. This is now to tell him, the fig tree represents Israel. So this is here a speech which confirmed the nature of Nathanael. Nathanael answered and said to him, Rabbi, you are the son of Elohim, Ben Elohim. You are the sovereign of Israel, Melech Israel. Yehoshua answered and said to him, because I said to you, I saw you under the fig tree, do you believe? Greater than that you shall see. And he said to him, truly, truly, I say to you, from now on you shall see the heaven open, and the messenger of Elohim ascending and descending upon the son of Adam, Ben Adam. So you see here, we have the parallel with the story of Yaakov. Here this is another layer which represents the prayer. The prayer. First of all, it is the resurrection of Yeshua, the death and resurrection. Yeshua opened the way before us that we can have prayer which go directly to the Father. Because we know that in the story, in the Vayetze, that the one who stands up in the heaven is Jehovah himself. Now this is very important. He says here, first through the Zion, I keep going, the stone on which Jacob dreamed had rested become the token of the promise bestowed in the dream. Jacob set up the stone to mark the spot where his encounter with Elohim had occurred. To consecrate the stone as a sacred seat, Jacob poured out a libation of oil over the top. He intended to return there and worship Elohim in the future. Let in the Torah Moshe consecrate every implement and furnishing of the tabernacle through anointing, and you shall anoint it to consecrate it. So we see here, this is the first anointing ceremony in the Torah, and it alludes to Mashiach, the anointed one. The Midrash say Jacob anointed the stone with oil to indicate that in the future his descendant will be anointed to priesthood and kingship. Now Jacob is there, and when does it happen? It happened in the night. When he left, he come to this place in the night. We're going to look at it in the Torah, direct, in Bereshit, Genesis chapter 20, and we say here, just excuse me. Okay, let me just, give me 1 second to put it here. Okay, and I wish I can show you that. It say here, okay. Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he came upon a place and stopped over for the night, for the sun had set. The sun has set. This means he goes into the darkness. When the sun sets, it is darkness. And you will see that why I say that, because when he comes back, it is opposite. So the sun rises. Here, when he goes to Laban, the sun sets. This means Jacob is heading to darkness. Laban's place is a place of darkness. This is where we are today. We are in Laban's place, spiritually speaking. We, you and me, we are all in Laban's place. But what decides for us is our attitude toward Elohim. We have to know who we are. We are all the offspring, either from Leah, if we belong to Judah, or from Rachel, if we are from the house of Israel, Ephraim. So, and he came upon a place and stopped over the night, for the sun had set. He took one of the stones of that place and put at his head. He lay down in that place to sleep. Again, you see the shadow of Mashiach laying down on the stone in the tomb. And he dreamed and saw a ladder set up on the earth, and its top reaches to the heavens, and saw messenger of Elohim going up and coming down on it. And see, Jehovah stood above it and said, I am Jehovah Elohim of Abraham, your father, the Elohim of Yitzchak. The land on which you are lying, I give it to you and your seed. And your seed shall be at the dust of the earth. You shall break forth to the west, to the east, to the north, to the south. And all the clans of the earth shall be blessed in you and in your seed. He'll give the same promise he gave to Abraham, to Isaac. Now he gives to Jacob. And see, I am with you and shall guard you whether you go, and shall bring you back to this land. For I am not going to leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. Here we have a promise which is still valid today. if we are the offspring of Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, through Mashiach Yehoshua, then we have the promise which stands for us. He promised to Yaakov that he will bring him back to the land, to Canaan. You see, for I am not going to leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. And Yaakov awake from his sleep and said, truly, Jehovah is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? This is no one other than the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of heavens. And Yaakov rose early in the morning, took the stone that he had put at his head, set it up as a standing column, and poured oil on top of it. And he called the name of that place Beth-El. However, the name of the city had been loosed previously. Bethel, for sure, is not the place where we later have the temple, because it is in Jerusalem. But Bethel is the place where Ephraim will make his violation of the Torah at the actual death. However, the name was that city was been loosed previously. And Yaakov made a vow saying, seeing Elohim is with me and has kept me in this way that I'm going. He has given me bread to eat and a garment to put on. When I have returned to my father's house in peace, and he has been my Elohim, then this stone which I have set as a standing column shall be Elohim's house, and of all that you give me, I shall certainly give a tenth to you. Now it's very interesting because Yaakov is anticipating now the future. This future we are living now, you and me, in the Laban's place. Laban is a type of man from the world, a system from the world, who control everything through his sons. Remember that Laban has sons, and the sons are working for the father. This is where you are, no matter which place you are, all the governments are the type of Laban. And Yaakov represents all the believers who are pure in heart. But we go more, because we said on the story, at the end of the story, with the flock. It's very, very interesting, fascinating. Now, Yaakov, I say, is a type of Mashiach. Mashiach went into the darkness. He went into the night for what? To bring you and me back to the flock. You and me back to the flock. That is the work of Mashiach. We speak here about spiritual situations which are stronger than the natural. The natural is called to disappear, but the spiritual is forever. You and me, we have been born through Mashiach. We have been reborn. We have been born from above. When you see, when Yaakov will have his name changed into Israel, this is when we are born from above. You see, the ladder is also another layer. It is an open way for prayers to the living Elohim. This is an open way. We see the Melachim, the angels, bring up the prayer of the saints, of the Kedoshim, and bring the answer back to the saints. This is very important to understand. So when we keep going, now we see Jacob, we go and marry Rachel or Leah and Rachel. His heart is for Leah. Remember, I say that Leah is a type of Judah, Rachel is a type of the house of Israel. And Mashiach, he went to seek for Rachel in Laban's place. Leah is also there. He's already there with Leah. He goes now for both of them. For both of them. But what interesting for us, our part is with Rachel. And we know Rachel is far from being perfect. But it doesn't make any difference. Now he will work because he has committed himself to Rachel. And for the sake of Rachel, he will work for Leah also 7 years and 7 years for Rachel. Now, he goes there and you know how it's happened. He was tricked by Laban, the wicked man, and married Leah first. Leah did not refuse. She was the firstborn. Actually, Leah, being the firstborn, should have been the wife of Esau. But because Esau was the firstborn of Yaakov. But because Esau did not obey his father and his mother, he went to take 2 Canaanites before he took the daughter of Ishmael. We see the way of Esau. Remember what I said in the beginning, Esau represents our carnal nature, while Jacob represents the good side in us. We have to let the good side in us dominate the carnal nature. This is how we approach the Torah. Now, he said that when he saw Leah, he was totally disappointed, but he didn't reject Leah. And Leah said, okay, I will give him sons so that he will love me. You see, so Leah was planning with work. I will attract Yaakov to me. But Rachel loved Yaakov. Both daughters were opposed to one another. This is how it is today between Judah and the house of Israel. You can read that if you go to the book of Yeshayahu. This will keep going until the coming back of Mashiach. I will read for you in the book of Yeshayahu, and you will see it is amazing. It's amazing, and it says here, let me find the verse. Just wait. I'm just looking here because I want to show you that is very interesting, very amazing. Yeah. It is in chapter 11, verse 12 and 13. To understand what we saw in the Parasha Vayetze between Leah and Rachel, who compared with one another through the children, today is the same between Yehuda, and the house of Israel. And he says, and it shall be in that day that Jehovah set his hand again, a second time, to recover the remnant of his people who are left from Ashur, from Mitzrayim, from Patros, from Cush, from Elam, from Shinar, from Hamat, and from the island of the sea. And he shall raise a banner for the nations, and gather the outcasts of Israel, and assemble the dispersed of Yehuda. We see outcasts of Israel, the dispersed of Yehuda, from the four corners of the earth. We see Leah and Rachel here. And what does it say in verse 13? And the envy of Ephraim shall turn aside, and the adversary of Yehuda be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Yehuda, and Yehuda not trouble Ephraim. But they shall fly down upon the shoulder of the Philistine toward the west. Together they plunder the people of the east, their hands stretching forth on Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall be subjected to them. And Jehovah shall put under the ban the tongue of the sea of Mitzrayim, shall wave his hand over the river with the might of his spirit, and shall strike it in the seventh stream, and shall cause men to tread it in sandals. The verse interesting here that interests us is verse 11. The envy of Ephraim shall turn aside, the adversary of Yehuda be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Yehuda, Yehuda not trouble Ephraim. For those, excuse me, for those who are involved in communication with Yehuda, following some videos from rabbis, you can see that there is indeed a struggle today. There is a struggle between Yehuda, who claim something, and the house of Israel, who claim another things. Two different approach, things, Leah and Rachel. Yehuda has been faithful, has never been separate from Elohim. Keep the Torah, keep the mitzvot. Yes, I know, you will tell me, yes, but there are other things, the Mishnah, the Gemara, the Talmud, all the... Yes, that's not our problem. They do it because they have in heart to serve Elohim according to their knowledge. And believe me, they have knowledge. Now this other side is the house of Israel, Ephraim, who follow Elohim according to the Ruach, to the Spirit, through Mashiach. Through Mashiach. So this is totally different. This is why today we have two antagonists who are looking at one another and saying, Judah said to the Goyim, say, you want to be part of us, you have to bow down to us, you have to follow us, you have to convert, you have to do that and to do that and to do that. And Ephraim say, oh look, Judah, they are all bondage with the Torah. No, they are not in bondage. They are preserving the Torah since 3,500 years. They keep the Torah. If today we have the Torah, thanks be to Yehovah, it is because of Yehudah. Yehudah is beloved of Elohim and is separate from us. This is Shaul. Shaul said that if you go to the book of Romans, which is very fascinating, we go to the book of Romans in chapter 11, we read following. He said, Elohim has not rejected his people, whom he knew beforehand. Okay? Listen carefully. He said that the nation has been grafted in. Okay, you see. I want to give you a verse which is very okay. He said, do not boast against the branches, Romans 11:18. And if you boast, remember, you do not bear the root, but the root bears you. You shall say then, the branches were broken off, that I might graft it in. Good. By unbelief, they were broken off, and you stand by belief. Do not be arrogant, but fear. But if Elohim did not spare the natural branches, he might not spare you either. See then the kindness and sharpness of Elohim on those who felt sharpness, but toward you kindness, if you continue in his kindness, otherwise you shall be cut off. And they also, if they do not continue in unbelief, shall be grafted in, for Elohim is able to graft them in again. For if you were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, which is Israel, how much more shall these, who are the natural branch, be grafted into their own olive tree? For I do not wish you to be ignorant of this secret, brothers, lest you shall be wise in your own estimation, that hardening in part has come over Israel until the fullness, the completeness of the nation has come in. This message is a message which comes from Bereshit chapter 48 verse 19. We'll speak that again when we read this parasha. So we see that today we have two camps, and Mashiach is there to bring back two, Yehudah and Ephraim, the house of Israel, back together to the land of Israel. We should never forget that. Yehudah is not our enemy, is our brother. And as such, we should estimate the great work what they are doing to keep the Torah, facing adversity, facing trials. I will not give you the name. You know that the greatest trial Yehudah went through with his wicked Hitler. With his wicked Hitler. They were there. It never stopped them to keep the Torah. So we must think about that. Now, Yaakov, as I say, who is a type of Mashiach, is now in Laban place. He lived there 20 years. Very interesting, because 20 years represent the time between the first coming of Yeshua and the second coming of Yeshua as Mashiach. Yeshua came to Israel as a prophet like Moshe, as we are reading in Yohanan 1:45, and he will come back as a Mashiach, the anointed one. The one is anointed with the all power of Elohim. He will come to subdue the nations and to rule over the kingdom and to rule over Israel. Hallelujah. Now, this is a shadow of Yaakov, when he will, after 20 years, he will go back to Canaan. If you want to understand that, there are many types of returning. Here we have the type with Yaakov, who take the 2 wives and the children which are born to them. Rachel being pregnant of Benjamin with the only child who will be born in the land of Canaan, which is also a shadow of things to come. We can read the same scenario to entering in the land of Canaan in the book of Yehoshua, the son of Nun, chapter 1 to chapter 5. This is another step. There are many steps that we can see. Now we see that Elohim, it is Elohim, who said to Yaakov to go back to the land of his father. He didn't do that on his own. This is very important to understand. Now, he didn't know that Rachel will took the idols from her father Laban. Now, we must understand that Jacob didn't know. So, we know the story with the lamb and the flock. When he said, I will not take any blessing from Laban, what I will take is what Elohim will give me. And for that he worked 6 years. During 6 years, we have the story of the flock, and I will read. He said now, Laban said to him also, if I have found, because he wanted to leave, he said, give me my wife and my children for whom I have served you, and let me go. For you yourself know my service which I have done for you. Laban said to him, if I have found favor in your eyes, please stay, for I have diligently watched that Jehovah has blessed me for your sake. Which means, if the country today are blessed, it is because of the children of Yaakov. Remember what he said to Abraham. In you, in your seed, all family of the earth will be blessed. He said here the same. It is from the mouth of Laban, who say, Jehovah has blessed me for your sake. You can let that sink into your mind to understand that the blessing has come because of the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he said, name me your wage and I give it. You see, Laban is trying to show himself generous. So he said to him, you know how I have served you and how your livestock has been with me for the letter you had before when I came to you has increased greatly, and Jehovah has blessed you since my coming. You see, the countries are blessed. Many countries, Europe, US, and many others, have been blessed because of the children of Israel, the descendants from Abraham. But now, when am I to provide for my own house too? And he said, what do I give you? Jacob said, give me nothing. If you do this for me, I shall again feed and guard your flocks. He said, you see, I don't want anything from you. This is not you, but it is my Elohim. Let me pass through all your flock today, removing from there all the speckled, spotted sheep, all the black ones among the lamb, and the spot and speckle among the goats, and this shall be my wage. And my righteousness shall answer for me in time to come. When you come concerning my wage, every one that is not speckled, spotted among the goats, and black among the lambs, it is stolen if it is with me. And Laban says, see, let it be according to your words. So Laban agreed with Jacob. And on that day he set aside the male goats that were speckled and spotted, and all the female goats that were speckled and spotted, every one that had some white in it, and all the black ones among the lamb, and gave them into the hand of his sons. And he put 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob. And Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flock. Jacob took for himself rows of green poplar, and of the almond and chestnut trees, peeled with stripes in them, and exposed the white which was in the roads. Listen carefully, because you will have a blown mind. Your mind will be blown because it's so great. And he set the road which he had peeled before the flock in the gutter, in the watering trough, where the flock came to drink, and they conceived when they came to drink. So the flock conceived before the roads, and the flocks brought forth speckled, speckled, and spotted. And Yaakov separated the lambs, made the flock face toward the speckled, and all the black in the flock of Laban. But he put his own flock by themselves, and did not put them with Laban's flock. And it came to be, whenever the strong ones of the flock conceived, that Yaakov placed the road before the eyes of the flock in the gutter, so they would conceive among the roads. But when the flocks were weak, he did not put them in, so the weak ones were Laban's, and the strong ones Yaakov's. Thus the man increased very much, and many flocks, female, male servant, camels, and donkey. So the story is about animals. But this story is about Mashiach, who will gather the flock of Elohim into and under his banner. Under his banner, all this multiply is a blessing from Elohim through the work of Yaakov. Yaakov was obedient during the 20 years, which I remember represent the 2,000 years between the first coming of Yeshua as a suffering servant and the glorious coming of Yeshua as the Mashiach of Jehovah. This is, and we are this flock. We are this flock. How do they look, this flock? They look like you and me. They are spotted, speckled. They are, you know, how it is written here. We are different one another, but we are all under the banner of Mashiach. All. We are the flock of Jehovah. We are the flock of his pasture. The flock of his pasture. It is written in the book of Psalms. Now, this is what you represent. When you read this, we have to understand, I don't have to read only the pshat, the literal level. I have to go into the remes, the drash, and the sword. The sword is a secret. What is behind the letter? What does Jehovah want us to know? What does he want to reveal? That is revealed in Mashiach Yeshua. Yeshua, he went among the nations, and the light that shines in the darkness. Listen, I will try to find it quickly. I want to show you that. It's beautiful. I want to show you that. It's very beautiful because we need to understand that. It's a book of Yeshayahu. Let me read it for you. Yes, in Yeshayahu chapter 9, we read, but there is no gloom upon her with distress, as when at first it humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, which are in the northern kingdom, and afterward more heavily oppressed her by the way of the sea, beyond the Jordan, in Galilee of the Goim, the nations. The people who were walking in darkness have seen a great light. Upon those who dwelled in the land of the shadow of death, a light has shone. A light has shone. That is very interesting because this text, we find it also in the book of Matthew. If we go to Matthew chapter 4, we read, and Yehoshua, from the verse 12, having heard that Yohanan had been put in prison, withdrew into Galilee, and leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capharnaum, which is by the sea, in the border of Zebulun and Naphtali. You see the connection with the book of Yeshayahu? To fulfill what was spoken by Yeshayahu the prophet, saying, land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, the way of the sea behind the Jordan, Galilee of the nations. The people who sat in darkness saw a great light, and upon those who sat in the land and shadow of death, light arose to them. From that time on, Yehoshua began to proclaim and to say, Shuv, repent, for the reigns of the heavens has drawn near. Beautiful. You see, this is the work of Yaakov, the shadow of the things to come. And we have to keep going now let me go there. So they go. Now Leah will bear children to Yaakov, and we see the antagonism between Leah and Rachel, both of them. Leah is in competition with Rachel. Rachel cannot bear children. She has still a womb is closed until Elohim will open her. Why? Because the fruit here, the fruit of Leah, is a fruit of obedience. She obeyed her wicked father Laban and do not choose her husband. And she found the favor from Elohim. She found the favor of Elohim. And Leah conceived. And at the time, Elohim opened the womb from Rachel, and she bare the first son, Joseph. Then they decide to, at the time, just let me go to the place, because now Yaakov, we received a message from Jehovah to leave. Very interesting. He get the message at the end of 20 years to leave, to go back to the land of his father Yitzhak. Again, this is the shadows of the coming back of Mashiach after 2,000 years. It's 20 times 100. It is in the heavenly places. To bring back the flock of Elohim back to the land of Canaan, to the land of Abraham, Isaac, Yaakov. And nobody will be able to stop it. Nobody. And he say, okay, let me go to the place. Now, in the chapter 31, let me see here. Yehovah, 31:3. Yehovah said to Yaakov, Yehovah, not Yaakov on his own, return to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I am with you. When Yehovah decided, nobody can stop. Nobody. Don't fear anything, because when Yehovah decided, nobody will stop you and me. We will be gathered. It doesn't matter what the nations say. It doesn't matter the pressure they put on us. We have Yehovah on our side. Charles said, if Yehovah is with us, who can be against us? Nobody. And Yaakov sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field to his flock, and said to them, I see your father's face, that is not toward me as before, but the Elohim of my father has been with me. And you know that I have served your father with all my strength. Yet your father has deceived me and changed my wage 10 times. But Elohim did not allow him to do evil to me. You see, the situation is not always easy, because we see Yaakov, he said that he had been cheated, deceived 10 times. So, when it's happened something to us, do not think that Elohim is not with you or with us. He said Elohim did not allow him to do evil to me. We should cleave to Elohim no matter what, because at the end we know that all things work for good to those who love Elohim. When he said this, the speckle are your wage, then all the flocks bore speckle. When he said this, the stricken are your wage, then all the flock bore stricken. So Elohim was taken away. Elohim has taken away the livestock of your father and given them to me. You see, it's not Jacob, it is Elohim. And it came to be at that time when the flock conceived, that I lifted my eyes and looked in a dream, and saw the rams which leaped upon the floor, and were stricken, speckled, and mottled. And the messenger of Elohim spoke to me in a dream, and saying, Yaakov, and I say, here I am. And he said, lift your eyes now and see. All the rams which sleep on the flock are stricken, speckled, and mottled, for I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. You see, now is the time of reward. Now is the time of separation. Now is the time when Jehovah see everything and say, yeah, now enough is enough, is finished. I will not allow Laban to do more. And so it is in this world today. My brothers and sisters, when Jehovah will decide that the governments of the earth have enough done wickedness, he will say enough is enough, and he will set his people free. So look unto Mashiach with your heart filled with the emunah in Jehovah, the faith in Jehovah, and you will see the victory. Now you say, yes, I am, and and he say, lift up your eyes now and see all the rams which leap on the flock as trick, speak, and mortar, for I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the heir of Bethel, where you anointed the standing column and where you made a vow to me. Now rise up, get out of this land and return to the land of your relatives, the land of Canaan. And Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, do we still have any portion of inheritance in our father's house? Are we not reckoned by him as stranger? For he has sold us and also entirely consumed our silver. For all the wealth which Elohim has taken from our father is ours and our children's. Now then, do whatever Elohim has told you. Here's a message from Leah and from Rachel. Both of them say, we have nothing to do with our family now. It's finished. We are finished. We have nothing to expect. This is what we should be also. Nothing can hold us what is in the past. We have to look toward to Mashiach and follow Mashiach no matter what. We may love our father and mothers, but if our father and mother are not working with Elohim, they are our father and mothers, Jehovah bless them, but we have to live like Abraham lived his place. He left his father and his mother, he left. The same with us, we have to follow. Now, Yaakov is bringing the two wives out of Laban's place, out of the world system, out from the nations, and he brings them back to Canaan. So, Yaakov rose and put his sons and his wife on camel. The sons, that is the 12 tribes, 11 because Rachel will bear Benjamin a bit later. He brings the house of Israel out of the nation Laban to bring it back to the land of Canaan, which is known today to be called Israel. And he drove off all his livestock and all his possession which he had acquired, his property of the livestock which he had acquired in Padan Aram, to go to his father Yitzchak in the land of Canaan. And of course, we know that Laban was angry and he said that he has stolen everything, that everything belonged to him, and he's very angry to Yaakov, and he goes, But we read also, while he planned evil against Yaakov, listen, in the verse 24 from the chapter 31, but in a dream by night, Elohim came to Laban, the Aramean, and said to him, guard yourself that you do not speak to Yaakov, either good or evil. You see, now Laban is warned. You will not do anything to Yaakov because he's angry. And when he met Yaakov, he will tell him story. But he will acknowledge that Elohim has appeared to him in a dream. He said, why did you flee secretly and deceive me, and not inform me that I would have sent you away with joy and song, with tambourine and lyre? Do you believe that? And you did not allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Now you have been foolish to do this. It is in the power of my hand to do evil to you, but the Elohim of your fathers spoke to me last night, saying, guard yourself that you do not speak to Yaakov, either good or evil. And now you have gone because you greatly long for your father's house, but why did you steal my mighty ones? Remember, Rachel took the idols from Laban. Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, lest you tear your daughters away from me. Not because of the idols, because he left without informing Laban. And he said, with whoever you find your mighty ones, do not let him live. Here, Yaakov without knowing, is speaking a curse upon Rachel, who will die. She will die, bearing Benjamin. Jacob didn't know. For Jacob did not know that Rachel has stolen them. And we know that she will die really early, and when she gave birth to Benjamin. Very interesting, because this is also the shadows of the things. We must die to ourselves in order to be born from above. And Laban went into Jacob's tent, into Leah, and I go over. And he didn't find the idols. Rachel tell him that she has a menstruation, she cannot move. Now, he say, look, these 20 years I've been with you, said Jacob. Your youth and your female goats have not miscarried, they are young. I have not eaten the rams of your sheep. That which was torn by beasts I did not bring to you. I myself bore the loss of it. You require it from my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. I was by day, the heat consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, 6 years for your flock. You have changed my ways 10 times. You see? 2 things in verse 41. I have served you 14 years for your 2 daughters. 7 years for Leah, 7 years for Rachel. 7 is a number for perfection on earth. 6 years for your flock. 6 years. The number 6 represents is the number of man. One man was created in the 6 days. For your flock. We are the flock of his pasture. We are the flock of his pasture. Unless Elohim of my father, the Elohim of Abraham, and the fear of Yitzchak has been with me, you will now have sent me away empty-handed. Elohim has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rendered judgment last night. Judgment. The day will come, the nation will see who is Elohim. Don't look at the media, what they tell you today, the television and all the works of them. Just look unto Jehovah and his Mashiach, Yehoshua, and see the victory we have. Refuse. Don't speak with your mouth what you don't want to see. Don't speak with your mouth what you don't want to see. You see, Jacob is speaking the truth. And Laban says to Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, these children are my children, this flock is my flock, and all that you see is mine. But what shall I do today to this, my daughter, or to their children whom they have borne? Now come and let's make a covenant, you and I, and it shall be a witness between you and me. You see, when Laban sees that he has no more solution, he wants to make a covenant with Jacob. Jacob is a wise man. So Jacob took a stone and set it up in standing column. And Jacob said to his brothers, gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap, and they hid there on the heap. So the brothers took stones. This means it's all Israel. The stones represent every tribe of Israel. And Laban called it Yega Sahaduta. Jacob called it Galed. And Laban said to this heap is a witness between you and me. This one name was Galed. Also Mitzpah, because he said, let Jehovah watch between you and me when we are out of each other's sight. So now we see the work of Yaakov in this parasha. There is much more to see. I just overflow the parasha today about to show that if we read the Torah, we must read in a different level. We read it in the level, literal level, which is Pshat. We read it in the Remes to see what is about the story, what is its analogy, what is present for us in the future. We'll read it in the Drash to learn from it, and we pray for the secret to see behind the letter what Jehovah has prepared for those who love him. So, my brother and sister, I hope this will help you to see that you belong to the flock of Yeshua, Jacob in the story. And that He will not leave you, that He will gather us all together from the four corners of the earth to bring us back to the land He gave to Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. That the day will come very soon, maybe soon in our days. May Jehovah look upon us and bless us with a mighty blessing. He will take care of your struggle. He will not leave you. He will not forsake you. He will bring you back to Himself through Yeshua HaMashiach. So I hope you enjoy this parasha, and we see you next time with the next parasha. I wish you a really blessed day, a great week, that you may fulfill your call that we have in Mashiach Yehoshua, and bless Jehovah every day when the sun get up, when the sun go down, to know who we are in Mashiach Yehoshua. Hallelujah. Be blessed and see you next time by the grace or the favor of Elohim. Shalom to everyone. Hallelujah.